Tractor Giants 2. Experience state-of-the-art and efficient technology on gigantic fields. Join us in Germany, the Czech Republic, Romania and France. Experience these horsepower machines in action. Join us as we visit contractors and collectors, because this is technology that inspires. It is still relatively rare to see these giants on the roads. The Fendt 936 Vario model is already well known. In this sporty version, however, it is a real eye-catcher. The tractor is also known by the nickname Black Beauty. It belongs to the Fendt design line. Since 2007, the manufacturer has been offering its customers an individual design. 4 different paint finishes are possible. A new water-cooled 6-cylinder engine from Deutz with a turbocharger and 7.14 litres of displacement delivers 360 horsepower. Top speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour are possible. For high-performance farms that need to work quickly and flexibly, it is an ideal vehicle, as the Fendt masters even long journeys in record time. Falco Roth, a contractor in the Black Forest, chose this Fendt. He wants to use it to operate his mobile wood chipper. For effective operation, the Jenz Mobile Chipper High M 561Z requires at least 320 horsepower. His location today, a log yard near Freudenstadt. At the push of a button, the individual components of the mobile chipper can be extended. The contractor no longer needs to get out to do this. However, Falco Roth has to change his line of sight to operate the crane. The Fendt 936 Vario is perfectly suited for such tasks.
The biggest advantage of the Fendt, as I see it now in the cab, is that there is definitely a reverse drive system from the factory, where I can turn the seat and steering wheel completely and take all important controls with me. We have the crane control here, can use it to operate the crane from up here to feed the chipper. We are using a power takeoff driven Jenz chipper. You place the log on the table, it is then pulled in by the feed roller, shredded there and blown out through the pipe via the blower onto the wagon or container.
Trunks up to 56 centimeters in diameter are no problem for the mobile Jenz chipper of the 500 series. Up to 120 cubic meters of loose wood can be shredded per hour. However, enormous drive power is required for this, and it comes exclusively from the Fendt 936 Vario. Within half an hour, the wood pile is cleared and chipped. The tipper is full to the brim, and Falco Roth is proud of his Black Beauty. The decision to buy a Fendt 936 Vario was easy for the contractor.
I primarily chose the Fendt because it comes from the factory with a reverse drive system, and not just some custom-built solutions like with other manufacturers. I see the 60 kilometers per hour as a big advantage, especially when moving the machine. The suspended front axle, the driving comfort. The Vario transmission is crucial for me. It is a 2009 model and it does about 12 to 1300 hours a year. 2/3 of that, half to 2/3, are spent on the wood chipper.
A gigantic tractor that achieves incredible things in this combination. Beyond all the advantages, this tractor also has a certain aesthetic appeal. With chrome highlights, it definitely belongs to the sports car class among tractors. But the individual design of the Fendt tractor has another side effect as well.
It has already become a trademark. It runs in carnival parades. There are often requests for weddings to drive the bridal couple. There is a lot of interest in the tractor.
Falco Roth appreciates the comfort his tractor offers him, especially on long, exhausting workdays in the forest. And when he is not busy chipping wood, you will surely run into him out for a drive with his Black Beauty. Major operation in the Nördlinger Ries in Reimlingen. Today, triticale is being chopped on a total of 230 hectares, a Claas Jaguar 510 in top form. Three contracting companies are working for the biogas plant today. Every minute, high-performance tractors with huge trailers pass through the plant gate. Every single load is weighed. The samples taken guarantee the farmer's fair payment based on performance. This naturally depends on the energy value of the chopped plants. Afterwards, the chopped material is dumped, spread out in the bunker silo, and finally compacted. The entire process is monitored by the biogas plant operators.
We have been operating a biogas plant here in Reimlingen for 4 years. It is a partnership, legally organized as a limited partnership with a limited liability company as general partner. 5 farmers who want to process their land and their feed here have all largely moved away from livestock farming and now supply their crop products to the plant. Today we installed grain, specifically triticale whole crop silage primarily. It is basically the same triticale that you would use for threshing, just installed about 14 days before it is ripe for harvest, which brings higher gas yields in the end, higher dry matter yields than if you were to process it through a combine harvester, right? That is why it is preserved as a whole plant.
A bunker silo 90 meters wide, 45 meters long and 65 meters deep is available for grain silage. A storage area that is just barely enough. But soon this space will be exhausted. Plans for a second silo are already underway. Compacting the silage is one of the most important tasks. The chopped material should be compacted without trapping any air. This is the only way to ensure that the lactic acid bacteria break down the sugar and that no mold forms during this process. Heavy, high-performance machines are used for compacting. The ZD3000 wheel loader from Zettelmeier, formerly military stock, does heavy-duty work here. With an unladen weight of over 23 tons, it is perfectly suited for such silo work. The hydropneumatic suspension and the engageable differential lock are also advantageous. The hydraulic multifunction leveling blade is also a must for silo work. From the driver's station, it can be conveniently moved in all directions. 4 years ago, Hermann Bauer, a contractor from Mönchstegingen, purchased 2 of these wheel dozers from former military surplus sales.
The machine was actually built for the military. It is only for pushing, not for loading, and has a high dead weight, the highest possible for factory loads, which we need here for the compaction of the silo. Compaction also speaks for silo quality, and so we decided on this machine, high weight, low purchase price. And the machine can adjust the blade into all possible variations needed to create a silo. It has a low center of gravity and is very robust. Without much electronics. Honestly, the most important thing, the tires. The tires are simply too narrow for the high dead weight for this feed. You sink in too deep, you need too much fuel and diesel. We widened the tires with a custom design and can thus have more surface area. With less fuel, roller machines that were mainly built for the military in 1982 and 1983. As they have hydraulic suspension, are highway legal, 280 horsepower, air-cooled V10 Deutz engine, have a 4-stage torque converter drive, and some have the standard cab, but there is also the cab with a reinforced mine protection design. The machine is then even heavier. The machine with mine protection is encapsulated even against gas, for example, and it already had air conditioning. It was only retrofitted by the military in 2006. The machines were also overhauled by the military in 2006. New hoses, partly new electrics, new headlight reflectors, so it is almost like new.
These giants were produced in the 80s by Settelmeyer. The company from Cons was primarily known for construction machinery. As a military vehicle, the machine ended its service 4 years ago. For work at the biogas plant, it primarily performs important preparatory work for energy production here.
Every day about 100 tons of feed are added to the main fermenter. The retention time of the feed is approximately 20 days. During these 20 days, various bacterial cultures convert the biomass into methane. Methane is basically the same raw material as natural gas. This methane or biogas with a 50% methane content can be converted into electricity in our engines. As I said, these are 2 engines of 1064 kilowatts each, and we use them to generate electricity, which is fed into the public grid for the customer EnBW, and heat, which flows into the hospital.
For over 2 days, silage is being produced here for later energy generation. The 5 operators are supported by local contractors. With state-of-the-art machinery, they contribute to effective power generation. Contractors must work effectively. Locations and drivers must be coordinated and scheduled. Straw harvesting is today's work order. In Swabian-Schmalleck, driver Rolf is setting off. Today he is working as a temporary driver for the Deifel Brothers Contracting Company. It is his first time operating a JCB Fastrac 8250. It is just under 30 kilometers to the first field. Long distances are no problem for modern giants like this one. Top speeds of up to 64 kilometers per hour can be reached. This is ensured by an 8.3-litre Cummins engine with a turbocharger and intercooler. A continuously variable transmission and convenient joystick controls ensure a comfortable ride. This driving experience is supported by the tractor's full suspension. Whether on the road or in the field, the suspension ensures constant ground contact and thus optimal wheel traction. At least 250 horsepower are required to work with the square baler from Claas. In combination with this baler, the tractor reaches top speeds of up to 20 kilometers per hour in this field. Efficiently and under optimal conditions, up to 300 tons of straw can be baled in one day. The bale size is variably adjustable. Here they are 3 meters long, 1.2 meters wide, and 1 meter high, weighing about 400 kilograms. Driver comfort during field work is also taken care of. The air-suspended seat with an attached control lever ensures a comfortable ride. Furthermore, the driver's back is spared during longer work shifts. Claas promises top performance. In 1 hour, the Quadrant 3400 can press up to 100 bales.
We have a JCB Fast Track 8 250 here, about 300 horsepower pulling power, drive power for the Quadrant 3400, with which we can produce a bale size of 100 by 120 centimeters with bale lengths from 50 centimeters up to 300 centimeters. So here we have our main drive, which comes down for the rotor drive via the pulley with the power band. It is engaged hydraulically, and as I said, it is speed monitored. In the event of an overload due to slippage or a drop in speed, the whole thing disengages and the driver is informed accordingly that it was simply too much of a good thing. Here we see the packer, which takes all the material from the rotor, pre-collects it in the pre-chamber, or if the throughput is high enough, sends the material into the press chamber in a single stroke, packing stroke or filling stroke, so that the bale grows a little bit with every piston stroke. Altså så sætter faren, så size.
The baler is equipped with 12 twine rolls. When fully loaded, they last longer than the tractor's diesel tank.
The rotor is driven by a power band with a 4-row composite belt, which is also automatically disengaged if the speed drops, and the driver is informed that the machine is reaching its performance limit before the belt burns out. And at that point, at the latest, you should slow down a bit, but then we are beyond 28 kilometers per hour, I think, while baling straw.
You don't quite reach the performance limit on the hilly field. Nevertheless, it is clear to him.
When it's running, there's no stopping it. Standing still means falling behind.
There is no thought of stopping today either. The next job is already waiting. It is time to bale straw again because rain is forecast for tomorrow. Constant stress for contractors. 180 calls a day are not uncommon for Reinhold Deifel during the peak season. No wonder with this range of services.
We actually cover the entire product range from soil cultivation to harvesting, so sowing, crop protection, grain seeding, threshing, forage harvesters, corn sowing, basically the entire product range that is offered or done in agriculture. We have combine harvesters, 4 of them, 6 forage harvesters, 12 tractors, 4 large pack, 3 large square balers, and a mower and a Cougar.
The Cougar is also scheduled for today. The contractor from Ravensburg shares this self-propelled machine from Claas with a second company. This ensures that the machine pays for itself early through full utilization. Today, driver Toby has to train a colleague on the technology of the self-propelled machine. But first, they have a 20-kilometer drive ahead of them before they reach the site. A special permit is mandatory for the machine on public roads because, after all, the Cougar is not just any mower, but the largest in the world. It is not just driving on the road that requires practice, but mowing itself as well.
Like the Alcac, as you have seen, the Cougar consists of 5 mower units. One subgroup is a butterfly configuration at the rear on the road and at the front in the field. The 2 mower units are separate. However, I can control, lower and lift each mower unit individually. I can retract or extend this mower while in a turn. We have a total working width of 14 meters, giving us an hourly output of about 20 hectares per hour. Also important, I still need to show you how to change the blades. It works like this. Fold the thing up, then you look for here, a hole like this, nice and soft. You have a special tip right here for that. Turn this blade around. With your weight on it, it comes right out. There are new blades on the front right of the mower in case they get damaged by a stone or something. Just get a new one. Press it back down, put it in, and of course check the cutting direction so the cut pattern is right. Now I will show you the cab, the onboard computer and all that stuff, how it works and which functions are where. So here is how it works, just like with any other. Here is the ignition, let it run. Let's go over the basic positions of all the switches. Handbrake, hydraulic lock switch, differential switch, gear shift, low gear, high gear, then idle, full throttle. This switch here and this one are for rotating the cab. Here the mowers are fully unfolded. You can operate them all individually, but when you drive onto the meadow, all mowers are always extended together. That means main switch on, let every single mower run, and then you drive with the joystick. The joystick works as follows. All mowers up, all mowers down. Here are the individual mower units. You can control each mower unit separately. Practically, you can either just raise the middle one or raise and lower whichever mower unit you happen to need. The hectare counter switches on and off automatically as the mower runs on the ground. Computer, this is your screen when you are driving on the road. If you press escape here, you enter mowing mode, which is the screen while mowing. Here are your 5 mowers all on your speed. Let's go. Let's start at the top left. You can switch from mower to mulcher here. It depends on what attachments you have on. Next position, set engine speed, set fan interval, drive mode, whether you should drive soft, aggressive, or whether soft or hard, depending on how it is best to drive. Then we come here to the contact pressure. I can set the contact pressure for each mower individually. Here the overlaps of the mower, how much each mower should overlap. Then there is the rear hydraulics. There is not much to adjust here though, and here I can specifically adjust the Suis or the hectare, clear the counter, area and the whole thing. So all in all, it is not difficult, and let us try it out in practice.
Give me gas.
Yes.
Four identical butterfly mowers are being unfolded here. Once they are fully extended, the Cougar reaches a working width of 14 meters. To mow, the cab must be rotated because, unlike driving on the road, the direction of travel changes during operation. Then it is ready to go. With top speeds of 40 kilometers per hour, the Cougar can manage up to 20 hectares per hour. All mower units can be controlled individually and adjusted separately to ground conditions. An optimal grass cut is thus guaranteed. Driving it is not complicated. Stefan realizes this too, as he is already well acquainted with the technology after just 15 minutes. The cab offers a perfect all-around view. All mowing units are within the driver's field of vision. The mowers can be swung in at the push of a button. Their work for today is finished. Now they are heading into their well-deserved weekend. Raymond Hirschler does not know what a weekend is. The active pensioner from beautiful Alsace cannot sit still for a minute. He is a passionate tractor fan, and you can tell that not just by his mailbox. The 61-year-old has always been involved with agricultural machinery. Even today, restoring and collecting tractors remains one of his greatest hobbies. A very special specimen stands in his yard, a John Deere 8630, a giant that originally comes from the United States. His granddaughter is naturally also interested in this huge tractor.
Let's see what you have found. See? We were looking for a tractor for tractor pulling. We already had the brake sled, and then we took a look at it. That was in Bordeaux, and that was 12 years ago. And see what it looked like? A miserable state. Filthy dirty, look at that. Yes. And then we brought him home for Christmas, and then we spent practically 9 months on him and fixed him up.
A few years ago, Raymond still drove his John Deere for a contractor. Today, the tractor has a much more relaxed life. Sometimes it is still used for wedding rides.
It was great, but I prefer the little tractor. Now I am going to play. Bye, Daddy. I think so too. I will do the same. On my side, I will play.
While the toy tractor is ready to use immediately, the original still needs to be prepared. Before every drive, the oil must be checked and topped up. This is how Raymond avoids engine damage and unnecessary repairs. Right after buying it, the Alsatian had to perform first aid on the tractor.
It wouldn't run anymore. And then I said, if they won't fix it, we'll take it home and get it back in shape. And so we brought him here, 9 months of work on it, and that is how we fixed him up until now, just as he stands. Of course, you could do more, some more paint, some body work, but he looks good as he is, and the mechanics are lively now. You can sit on it and drive. Right, the gear shift, that is the range transmission. 4 ranges, A, B, C, D, and 4 gears. First and second gear are power shift, third is clutch, fourth is power shift. That is quite simple. When you go inside, we have the rear hydraulics lift and 3 double-acting valves, pull, push. This is an XGS cab, comfortable, large, seat as comfortable as an American car.
The standard air conditioning system ensures a pleasant climate while driving. A 6-cylinder John Deere engine with a turbocharger allows the nearly 12-ton articulated tractor to reach top speeds of over 30 kilometers per hour. But as comfortable as it is to operate, it takes a lot of practice to get the hang of the articulated steering.
When you get on for the first time, it is quite special because everything swings around at the back and suddenly you are hanging inside the machine. It drives quite differently from a normal tractor. A 6-cylinder John Deere with 10.5 liters of displacement. And that is truly massive for a tractor like this. The other models below it have 7.5 and 8.5 liter engines inside.
With so much power, you also need a correspondingly large tank.
Here we see the diesel tank. Here is the upper power takeoff, that is the power takeoff drive. In the middle it is from the clutch directly to the transmission, and below is the front axle drive, and the pivot point is at the bottom and top, and here on the left and right is the cylinder for the steering, which pulls everything together.
With maximum steering angle, the super tractor reaches a turning circle of 11.3 meters. Especially when cornering extremely, the right tires are essential.
So now to the wheels. Here we have inner wheels. These are cast rims. They weigh 850 kilos. The outer one's about 200, and regarding the tractor's stability, you have to use 8 wheels. Otherwise it's off balance when turning or driving on hills. Otherwise it could tip over. 4 wheels won't work, only for at home, only for short drives.
When Raymond Hirschler bought the tractor in Bordeaux, it was no longer running. No one knew why. However, the clever Alsatian still knows exactly which tiny detail he owes the good deal to.
And now we come to the best part, why the tractor ended up in Alsace. That is the reason the PTO shaft popped out, excess pressure in the transmission. And then they attached a plate on top, they closed it up, but that didn't work. There was still excess pressure inside, and that was the reason why we got it in Alsace. So here we have the diesel tank, 300 litres on the left and right, a bit further on 2 filters, diesel filters down on the engine. The engine is 45 litres, injector pump a bit further on. And in front, water with 53 litres approximately.
The wrong model designation on the hood. Raymond Hirschler attributes this to a replacement of the hood. But who cares about this small flaw when encountering an American giant on Alsatian country roads? About 100 kilometers south of Wissembourg, we meet another collector. Paul Hofer is a farmer and his passion is international harvester tractors. His 886 is an American model and comes from the factory in Illinois. The Alsatian uses it mainly for heavy pulling work. With 90 horsepower, this tractor is not one of the giants, but it still has a lot to offer.
This is an HC 886, built in 1980. It is an American tractor with an engine from HC News, D358, a standard tractor engine. It has a good cab, comfort. It has a transmission, not synchronized gear, but you can shift gears hydraulically without interruption, without stopping, without clutching, like a two-stage power shift.
He knows a lot about the red tractors. He came into contact with the first international harvester tractors early on.
International harvester, I always drove an international harvester as a child. I always drove a technical international harvester.
To supplement his agricultural income, he also sells farm equipment like this tiller. This has a very nice side effect and in a certain sense also supports his hobby.
I know many people through my businesses, what I do. And when I do business, when I am in business, I also look for people who have international harvester. And what is about international harvester is fun for me here. And so I know many people who are international harvester collectors and farmers who work with international harvester.
And then he is already on his way. Today he is driving to the Vosges. Paul Hofer is visiting a contract farming business there. Grain and corn cultivation as well as dairy farming are predominant in this region. For large-scale field cultivation, there are the buyers. They have been running a contracting business for years. For their work, they use exclusively international harvester tractors. Hello, Mr. Bailey. How are you? What work are you doing with the tractor? What are your plans?
So, I was just checking the oil levels on the tractor, to then head out to the field with the heavy disc harrow. We want to test the International Harvester 4586 with stubble cultivation.
What is the horsepower of the tractor?
This tractor has 300 horsepower with a V8 engine and 13 liters of displacement. That is an International Harvester engine. The International Harvester 4586 articulated tractor is a Steiger design with an International Harvester engine.
Ah, okay. And the transmission?
It is a mechanical transmission with 10 forward and 2 reverse gears. The transmission comes from the manufacturer Spicer. The 4586 is actually the only model of this type in France.
Aha, I see. Can we take a look at the engine?
Yes. So it is an 8-cylinder V engine. The V800 IH engine was also installed in trucks and construction machinery, such as the TD30 bulldozer. It is a V8 engine with 13 liters of displacement. Back then, it already had 4 valves per cylinder. The injection pump is located right in the middle.
And what about the tire size?
The 4586 is equipped with 30.5 by 32-inch tires in the American version. The wheels are mounted on a stub axle and the wheel hubs can be moved along the axle shaft. Basically like the standard US International Harvester tractors, to be able to adjust the track width.
Yes, we can see that it is equipped with 3.5-inch shafts, but over there it is only 3 inches.
Yes, those were similar axles to the ones on the 1566.
And you can also see the 2 bolts with tapered clamping pieces to fasten the wheels.
This way, each wheel can basically transmit 150 horsepower.
Can you tell me something about the cab? How is it laid out?
The cab is designed to sit in front of the articulation joint. Quite the opposite of the Snoopy. It is a one-man cab with 4 silent blocks mounted underneath to dampen it. Back then, it was the most comfortable thing you could buy. Besides, it is relatively spacious.
Yes, that is correct.
Would you like to take a look?
Yes, let's take a look. A very spacious cabin.
Yes, so here is the cab. Here is the steering wheel for the hydraulic steering. Here on the left we have a lever for the hydraulics, the clutch is on the left, the brakes on the right. There is no gas pedal. The gear shift is between the legs with 1 reverse gear and 5 forward gears. You can double the number of gears using the mechanical dog clutch. The hand throttle is here. There is only 1 hand throttle in this tractor. Up top are the ventilation, the heater, the windshield wiper control and the air conditioning.
Can we take a look at the rest? The rear part of the tractor and the hitch? I see you have a sticker on it that is from Ohio. Does that have to do with the tractor's country of origin?
Yes, this tractor actually comes from an American collection in Ohio. We were able to import it from there through an importer.
Can you also tell us something about the articulated joint and the transfer case? How does it work?
Yes, indeed. We have an articulated joint behind the cab, consisting of a fixed pivot point and 2 movable connecting rods. This allows the transfer case to adapt to the furrows. We have the transfer case here with a direct connection to the manual transmission, meaning 1 drive shaft going to the rear axle and 1 drive shaft going to the front axle. And here is an additional steering linkage. The connecting rod ensures that the transfer case follows the articulated joint when cornering. The steering is equipped with 2 double-acting hydraulic cylinders and is controlled simply via the steering wheel.
And back here you can also see the fuel tank.
Yes, the 650-liter fuel tank is at the back of the tractor. So, here is the rear of the tractor. We have a swinging drawbar with a hitch. It is mounted in front of the rear axle so the tractive power can be optimally transferred. Furthermore, the curved shape protects against impacts. The drawbar is guided by a mounted roller and secured with 2 stops. So, if the work requires a lot of pulling power, we remove the stops, the drawbar can move freely, and we gain more traction or pulling power. This tractor has no power takeoff and no rear linkage. This was optional equipment. Articulated tractors in general were designed in the United States primarily and mainly for heavy pulling tasks. In America, these tractors were used anyway only for pulling larger implements and not for heavy lifting work. Originally, only American hydraulic quick-release couplings were installed for the auxiliary control units. They were not compatible with European connectors. We then had to replace them entirely with European ones so that we could hitch up our machines.
Can we see the vehicle in action now?
Yes, of course, come on in.
The relationship to the Steiger tractors is unmistakable. In 1973, the International Harvester Company acquired shares in the Steiger tractor plant in Fargo. Steiger was the specialist for articulated tractors back then. The cooperation eventually resulted in the 86 series, a mix of IH and The articulated frame and cab come from Steiger. The engines were supplied by International Harvester. It was originally designed purely as a tractor, an ideal machine, therefore, for large-scale soil cultivation. The implement at the rear ensures the right weight distribution and optimal traction. This Colossus weighs over 20 tons. The pressure on the ground is enormous. To minimize soil compaction, it is possible to attach dual tires. Back then, in the late 70s, the tractor's features were very luxurious. The air-sprung cab with air conditioning ensures comfortable work, even in difficult soil conditions and midsummer temperatures. The glass cabin ensures good all-around visibility. This way, the driver always has the implement and the field in view. With the 4586 and the mounted disc harrow, Damien achieves working speeds of up to 11 kilometers per hour. Yes, that was a successful demonstration with your tractor. It worked very well at this depth, and as you can see, an articulated tractor with 4 equal-sized wheels does have more traction compared to standard tractors.
Yes, we were also surprised by the traction of the articulated tractor. Thanks to the joint and the 4 equally sized wheels, it really has exceptionally good traction.
Yes, that is true. I think a conventional tractor would not have managed to pull the machine at this depth, not to mention the soil moisture.
Sure, but he must have at least as much performance as this one.
That is true. Yes. Okay. Thank you for the demonstration of your beautiful tractor, which is unique in France. I wish you all the best with your work, and goodbye.
Thank you, goodbye, Mr. Offer.
Damien still has plenty of work to do today. He no longer needs the 4586 for that, though. It is the only tractor with this model designation in France. A very special giant, then, in the middle of the Vosges. Just under 100 kilometers west of Saint-Maurice-sur-Montagne in Hilsenheim, Jean-Marie and Christophe Schmidt are also preparing a giant for fieldwork. Together, the two run an agricultural machinery business. Both also share a common passion: International Harvester tractors. A few years ago, they imported a 3388, an American articulated tractor, to France via Belgium. A particularly striking feature of this tractor is its long snout. This soon earned it nicknames like Anteater or Snoopy. In 1979, when the 88 series was introduced to the American market, they were an absolute sensation, not least because of their unconventional design. Unlike the 4586, the cab on this articulated tractor was placed behind the articulation point. The steering is therefore somewhat unusual for the driver. The tractor follows the long nose, and the rear only pulls along with a delay. Under the hood of this giant is a water-cooled 6-cylinder DT436 engine with a turbocharger. A displacement of 7.2 litres and 250 horsepower make this giant the perfect tractor. To keep the tractor's price low, the designers used electrical components and the cab from other company series. Like other American tractors, this one is a pure towing machine. It is particularly suitable for large-scale soil cultivation. The 4 equally sized wheels ensure excellent traction and low soil compaction. To provide sufficient weight on the front wheels during field work, the engine was placed in the nose of the giant.
Hello. Well, how are you? It is going very well. At first, I did have some trouble setting up the machine, but now everything is working wonderfully. Now I am working at a depth of 10 centimeters at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour, and the power of the tractor is sufficient. It runs very well.
So, set up very well then. Also, no problems with the traction?
No, it is a great tractor. Do you want to check out the result?
Do you know about work?
Yeah, that isn't bad. Also, the entire surface of the ground was worked on very well. This is perfect.
Should I?
Hello? What are you doing there?
We are conducting a test with...
Oh, are you trying out your new gadget? Yes. Where does the tractor come from?
It's an American model, an International 3388.
This isn't a common model here, is it?
Oh no, it comes from America. It is actually purely a tractor unit.
And it seems to be an articulated tractor, right?
Yes, it is an articulated tractor and has 4-wheel drive. And much more weight at the back to have high traction with attached machines.
Do you want to show me the tractor?
Yes, sure.
Okay. You can show it to me if you want.
Oh yes, it is gigantic. It has a DT436IH engine. It has 7 cylinders and 225 horsepower.
And as I can see, it is built directly onto the front axle.
Yes, to have more pulling power.
What else is interesting? Whoops! Wow, that one really has some thick tires.
Yes, and as you can see, you can also attach a second tire to this axle. That way we have an 8-tire tractor. Yes,
8 wheels?
Yes.
So more traction and less soil compaction. And what is the advantage of the articulated steering?
Well, that significantly improves the turning radius.
And how much space do you need to turn then?
Oh, I think with this vehicle you have a turning circle of about 6 to 6.2 meters.
6 meters 20 to turn. That is not much for such a large vehicle.
And here I can show you the cabin.
That is actually not bad at all.
Hey, do you see the gear shift here? You have 16 forward gears, which you can double with the torque amplifier. And you can double the gears every time with this switch here.
With the amplifier?
Exactly, and here you have everything that belongs to the hydraulics.
Not bad at all.
Up here is everything for the air conditioning. Also, there is an air suspended seat here.
A seat that can be perfectly adjusted to the individual driver. Yes, really not bad at all.
See, back here you have two double-acting hydraulic connections. You can engage them under pressure. It is very easy to install. Do you also see the power takeoff? You have 500 revolutions per minute or 1000 revolutions per minute, and you have the hydraulics. It is not the main focus of this tractor as it was primarily designed as a towing vehicle.
That is a super giant, truly a beautiful machine.
So, that is not everything, but I have to keep working now. I still have a lot to do.
Me too. Well then, goodbye, Christophe. Jean-Marie, until next time. Bye and have a nice afternoon. Even for Joel, actually a true blue John Deere fan, this tractor is a very special giant. IH built these tractors until the early 80s. In 1984, Case acquired the company IH, and the long-nosed tractors fell by the wayside. To this day, the company Case operates with the addition of IH. In the mid-90s, rubber track technology made great progress. The first Quadtrac was created as early as 1997. To this day, Case IH is considered a pioneer in rubber track technology. The Quadtrac STX 535 is one of the largest European tractors. It is suitable for large-scale soil cultivation. These giants are increasingly being used in eastern countries, as seen here, for example, in the Czech Republic.
We, as a company, AgriCS, are the importer of Case YH machines, and we are the partner of Case IH. We started this business again in 2004, and from that year we now have 30 such large tractors in the Czech Republic. So it is getting more and more popular, and every company, every owner who wants to move his business forward needs to think about these big tractors.
Wheat, corn, barley, sugar beets, potatoes and forage crops are grown here on a large scale. The Quadtracs are practically ideal for these enormous fields, especially when used in combination with heavy implements like here, for example, with the Simba disc cultivator. With a transport width of 3 meters, it is just barely road legal. This sight is rare and impressive. An armada of 4 Quadtracs is getting ready for action. The wings are folded out hydraulically. The working width is now 7 meters. 450 to 500 horsepower are needed to pull the nearly 12-ton machine through the field. A breeze for the Quadtrac with a maximum output of 602 horsepower. But it is not just its power that is decisive.
And the Quadtrac is unique also from a technical point of view because it has the special undercarriage with the 4 independent tracks which perfectly copy the terrain in the field, perfectly transfer the power, all power from the engine, and are very, I would say, gentle on the soil, because even when turning on the headlands, this undercarriage does not disturb or damage the soil.
Technically, a masterpiece. The heart of this Quadtrac is a newly developed 6-cylinder engine with a displacement of 14.9 liters. This allows for a torque increase of 40%. It handles difficult terrain effortlessly without needing to shift gears. The cab with all-around glazing also ensures optimal visibility. The layout of the controls makes the driver's work easier. Perfect conditions for the driver then. This way he keeps everything in view. After cultivating, the field is ready for sowing. The workers have earned a break. The storks are searching for food to survive a long journey to the south. In Romania too, specifically in Dudestiveci near the Serbian border, the final preparations are beginning. Romania is a poor country, but it is very agriculturally oriented. With 15 million hectares, it has the largest agricultural area in Europe. It is particularly attractive for large agricultural companies such as Emiliana Westrum. The managing director is the Italian Paolo Rocchi. 10 years ago, the company acquired its first plots of land here. By now, they are farming 12,000 hectares. In addition to cultivating agricultural land, the company also raises livestock. Emiliana Westrum is the only farm in Romania that breeds Limousin cattle. However, economic interests were not the priority when the company was founded.
The company started in 2000 and this company is truly built on passion. He is very passionate, he loves agriculture very much and he believes strongly in Romania. And he also has 1,300 Limousin cows, a large silo of 52,000 tons. And what more can I say? Here we do precision farming and land improvement work, meaning leveling canals and irrigation.
You cannot blame the Italian for his plan to gain a foothold in Romania. However, 12,000 hectares also mean a lot of work. To farm the fields efficiently, large tractors are necessary. For soil cultivation, the company chose a Steiger 535. This giant from the US state of North Dakota has a water-cooled 6-cylinder Cummins engine. It produces 535 horsepower. Ideal conditions, therefore, for heavy pulling tasks.
For certain Steiger work, I thought it is currently the most suitable product for this type of work. My personal opinion is that on a large area of land there is room for all types of machinery, but for plowing, for subsoiling, for a certain type of work, I thought the Steiger was the most suitable.
Unlike conventional large tractors, this articulated model impresses with its maneuverability. The turning radius is 5.7 meters. The dual tires reduce ground pressure, thereby protecting the agricultural land. In addition, there is varying soil quality. This makes cultivation difficult, especially when, as with this area, it involves very heavy soil.
The problems are the ground is hard. We need this kind of large machinery. Diesel consumption is higher and the machinery wear is very high. It depends on the type of work, but an average per hectare, I do not know how to make an exact calculation, but around 120 liters per hectare. No, I am talking about the entire job. For this Steiger, it now averages 35 liters per hectare, 30 for plowing.
The cab is equipped with all the bells and whistles, just like the Quadtrac 535. All-around glazing ensures the driver always has a clear view. An air-suspended driver's seat and a user-friendly layout of the controls increase driving comfort. Ultimately, everyone is satisfied with the Steiger 535. Paolo Rocchi had still carefully considered the decision for this powerhouse, because in addition to the Steiger 535, the Quadtrac from Case 1H was also an option.
We are planning to get one with tracks, but for certain tasks, for example, dissing or other work on already plowed land. We thought that this one with dual wheels has less compaction, less pressure, that is all.
The cultivation should be soil-friendly. Heavy soil compaction leads to the destruction of nutrient-rich humus and vital organisms. And to ensure soil fertility, the soil fauna and flora must remain intact. These findings play a significant role in the design of today's large tractors. Whether in Romania, the Czech Republic, France, or Germany, today's giants work in a soil-friendly, effective, and eco-friendly way on the fields of tomorrow.